Welcome to Super Life with me, Darren Oline, a podcast where we explore, discover, and share solutions that promote a healthier life and a better world. Together, we'll ignite possibilities, inspire change, and build sovereignty, creating a roadmap towards a super life for you and for all. Get ready to start living your super life. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. This is Darren Oline. This is Super Life Podcast. This is for you. This solo episode is geared for understanding and describing and giving some highlights to understanding adaptogens, the allies that we can use for our modern day stressors. These guys have been around for a long time. I have a lot of stories around many of these adaptogens, and they're my favorite category of herbs and fungi, without a doubt. So understanding adaptogens. Let's first describe what a true adaptogen is. Adaptogens are plants or fungi that are recognized by traditions, healing systems, Ayurveda, and traditional Chinese medicine being the longest standing use of these adaptogens, and also the pharmacopoeias, a lot of indigenous pharmacopoeias, and the history of adaptogens have been used for some tens of thousands of years. There's a lot of history, there's a lot of folklore, there's a lot of cultural observation and use and understanding and discovering these ancient botanicals. And they can help from resilience, vitality, greater stressors, tolerance when they're consumed, i.e. just modulate stress on many levels. It's important to understand the criteria for a true adaptogen. And to classify true adaptogens, this is a botanical or fungi or fungus or mushroom that meets primarily three very important criteria. Number one, they have to be non-toxic. So they're safe at normal dosages that have been studied and understood and have minimal, if any, side effect. It's very important to understand. Non-toxicity. Not all botanicals meet that adaptogenic definition. The second, very important, is its non-specific resistance. That means it improves the body's overall resistance to a broad range of stressors. Okay? So again, non-specific resistance. It's systemic support in overall stress responses in the body. It's a modulator. It modulates and supports the body. Third, very important, is it has a normalizing effect. This helps restore and maintain balance. This modulating aspect is extremely important as it relates to adaptogens. So it restores and maintains balance in the body, regardless of whether a stress response or overactivity or underactivity. It modulates either way. It has a multiple effect, multifaceted effect on the modulation of the stressors of the body. Those are the primary definitions of an adaptogen. And as you can see, that's a very important thing. So when you take something like ashwagandha, for example, primarily out of India and used by Ayurveda for tens of thousands of years, literally. This has a very powerful effect, but it's not stimulatory. The thing about adaptogens is it takes time. It's not like coffee or guarana or a caffeine-induced thing that produces a result immediately. That's what, in our modern day world, we want to feel the effect right now. But adaptogens build over time. And the non-stimulatory side of things is the power of building that energy force, that prana, and that adaptability that these things have. So the first one, I'm only gonna identify a few adaptogens, some of which I've had personal experience with in other countries of origin. Ashwagandha being one, in India. Um, Ayurveda can argue that it's 10,000 years. I've even been in India, and research facilities can date potentially back to 20,000 years. And ashwagandha has a powerful regulatory modulation within cortisol, and it promotes restful sleep, reduces anxiety, and can enhance even cognitive function. Some of the story around it is it smells like a horse, and it does have a very strong smell. It's believed to impart this stallion-like vitality. So this is kind of the folklore side of it. The warriors use it. Again, the use of this, I'll go into some studies, but all of this stuff is based on research. Okay. The next one that I love, that I've been using for a long time, and I actually put it into early formulations that I put out in the world, and that's Rhodiola rosea. I've probably used this for a better part of 20 years. This is very useful, and the traditional use of this was around Northern Europeans and Asians to combat fatigue. So the modern research suggests that it can aid in reducing mental and physical fatigue and improve your overall focus. Siberians say it has a calming effect. And if you drink rhodiola, again, this is the folklore, if you drink rhodiola, and these are the stories passed around, that you live to 100 years. And the newlyweds would be given rhodiola for a powerful consummation, and then living a harmonious life. The next one is one of my favorites. That is Reishi. You probably have heard of this, the Reishi mushroom. It is estimated that traditional Chinese medicine is revered this mushroom as the mushroom of immortality. It has a very powerful calming effect around anxiety, improving sleep, and modulation of the immune system function. The Tao, or the Taoist monks, revered this Reishi as using for spiritual alignment, calming the inner self. Chinese emperors would use this treasure and a symbol of eternal youth and divine favor. One of my favorites, and I also call my dog this is Chaga mushroom. This has been used certainly by the Vikings, Siberian, and all throughout Northern Europe. This is a tonic. It's one of the highest, if not the highest, antioxidant botanicals, or in this case, pseudo mushroom in the world. It supports the immune system in a big way and helps combat oxidative stress and can potentially improve endurance. This has been called the diamond of the forest. This conch on the birch tree has been believed and used by shamans to improve the long journeys and between the earthly and the spiritual realm. Again, this is the folklore. I also like to understand where some of the stories are, because the indigenous people have found these and learned about them, and then science has caught up to why they're used and how they're used. One of my other favorites that I had the pleasure of being in remote China and seeing the Schizandra festival, the harvest of the Schizandra, essentially berry. This has been used by traditional Chinese medicine, the 5-flavor fruit, literally bitter, pungent, sour, sweet, salty, all of the flavors also constitute powerful adaptogenic responses in the body. This can be used for enhanced mental focus, performance, stress adaptation, and also improves liver health. Hunters used to use Schizandra berry for endurance. The Taoists used to believe that it balanced the body's 5 elements. Again, 5 flavors. Also, from the folklore, matching the 5 elements in the body, improving the overall strength of the body. Another favorite that I got a first look way back in 2007 in the sovereign Himalayan mountains in Bhutan was Cordyceps sinensis. This is used by Tibetans, the Chinese. This is a fungus. This is a mushroom. It's not a traditional mushroom. This is a fungus that maybe you saw Down to Earth season 2. We actually found some cordyceps in the forest. These are a little different than the ones I found in Bhutan. But again, the same fungus attacks a worm, essentially, and then grows and takes over the worm and eventually kills the worm and grows a shoot off the top of the crown of the head. And the whole, from the dead, dried worm to the crown that looks like a blade of grass, that is all of cordyceps. That is what cordyceps is. Cordyceps has been used for a very long time. Strength, stamina, robust health, and longevity. So this is some of my favorite adaptogenic herbs. Some of how they all work is on the HPA axis, promoting regulation. It stabilizes the stress response, and also prevents excess cortisol spikes. So again, all of them have this modulating effect. They also help with neurotransmitters and hormone balancing. Again, not stimulatory. They help to influence the brain. They help to influence the brain chemistry, like serotonin and dopamine. They support mood stabilization and mental focus. The antioxidants and anti-inflammatory effects are powerful. All of them contain some compounds that help reduce oxidative stress that happens in the body. Certainly, we have higher and higher levels because of our modern day fatal conveniences, our water, our food, our air, all are contaminated with things that are causing us deeper and deeper inflammatory responses and stress. So adaptogens are, I think, an elixir we all need to explore. And with these adaptogens, they help with the chronic stress. Some practical tips for incorporation. Well, this is generally speaking, because I haven't picked apart all of where to get all of these things. I can have suggestions, but I want to just offer quality and purity, standardization are paramount. So tinctures are through a standardization process. Try to get wild-crafted, organic for sure. Choose reputable, lab-tested products. And if those companies can prove that and show that, even better. Consistency counts. So the benefits emerge, again, over weeks potentially. And they are used regularly in order to produce those results. A single dose, you're probably not going to, quote unquote, feel anything. You need to look at this from a holistic approach. This is proactivity of your health. So when you combine adaptogens with balanced eating, hydration, restful sleep, regular exercise, mindfulness, now those adaptogens can really build upon the foundation. They do not combat, if you don't sleep, they can't make up for that amount of dysregulation. If you don't eat well, they can't make up for all of that. If you don't stay hydrated, if you don't exercise, they can't make up for all of that. So I need you to understand. If you are looking for a quick fix, these are not it. Nothing that makes any sense and scientific sense is a quick fix, ever. It's small things that you can do over time. But from our modern day world, from my perspective, adaptogens are a clear path to help regulate the body and support the body. Again, if you really want to dive into this, I suggest get tested, talk to your physician, preferably a functional medicine doctor, a naturopath, someone who understands deeply traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic, ND, whatever you need to do, consult them if you really want to dive in and see where your body's at and see what you can currently use to help maybe steer your body towards this long-term beneficial product and process. So while the scientific interest in adaptogens is certainly expanding, we need more and more studies. More large-scale, long-term studies are always needed. So I just want to say this is just information. You want to consult your healthcare provider on anything new that you're bringing into your body. Okay? So some of the research that I'll just cite here, there is a review by in 2010 of molecular and clinical aspects of adaptogens, detailing how they improve stress tolerance and protect the central nervous system from stress-induced damage. That's powerful. And that was a study done in 2010. Around ashwagandha, there was a meta-analysis showing ashwagandha's potential in reducing anxiety, depressive symptoms through stress and hormone modulation. Super important today, as hormones are getting yanked around with all kinds of stressors and all kinds of fatal conveniences and chemicals. This is, again, another reason. There was a double-blind Indian Journal of Pharmacological Medicine, a double-blind placebo-controlled study indicating that ashwagandha's ability to significantly reduce stress and anxiety levels in human subjects was profound. Again, this is just a summary. You can dive into the studies that I have in the show notes. Rhodiola rosea highlighted rhodiola's anti-fatigue effects, linking them to regulation of stress modulation. Systemic review of rhodiola also improved memory, mental, and physical fatigue overall well-being. Reishi, there was a broad pharmacological activity when using reishi with immune modulation and potential stress resilience. Again, these things are powerful. When you read these and take them in, it's really amazing what can be used if you use them correctly and you use them over time. A great study, the Journal of Ethnopharmacological journal in 2019, Chaga demonstrated antiviral and immune support properties, which can contribute indirectly to stress resilience. Okay, so again, chaga is rich in antioxidants, supporting the body, defending against oxidative stress. Another one I haven't mentioned yet is Tulsi or holy basil. This one is another powerful one. The Indian Journal of Physiology and Pharmacological Studies showed that the traditional use of Tulsi reduced stress, enhanced mental clarity, stress reduction, all of these things. Shazandra, there was an improvement of mental focus, endurance, stress adaptation. Cordyceps detailed cordyceps bioactive compounds relating to energy metabolism, immune modulation, stress tolerance, and the list goes on and on. What I really love is, again, I've been in the fields, I've been in mountaintops, I've looked at from Rhodiola to Shazandra to Cordyceps to Chaga to Tulsi to Ashwagandha. I've been out in the world and seeing these things, talking to experts. It can go very deep down the rabbit hole. But I believe weaving together modern science and the ancient indigenous knowledge is incredibly important. It proves more and more that the indigenous knowledge, giving insight into the scientific community and working together to understand alkaloids, understand adaptogenic compounds, understand these as well as the usage, can go a long way. I hope that our healthcare system can come better online to support the better use of herbs, botanicals, the fungal kingdom, all of it. That helps to guide us, to illuminate us, and especially around the adaptogens, and allows us to continue the safe use. And I also will say, getting some of these in the wild can be challenging, and it can stress the supply chain. So things like chaga, there are companies like, I think it's a company called Ohm. They do this in the lab because chaga in the wild is being threatened. So as the popularity of these, we need to watch supply chain. We need to watch quality. We need to understand where these things are coming from, which is why I spent a better part of 15 years running around the globe in the first part of my career, making sure that what I was formulating was matching with supply chain, with indigenous knowledge, with growing correctly and testing scientifically. Okay, so there you go. There's a few companies, I get nothing from it. There's Rose Mountain Herbs, which is a great company. There is Z Naturals, which is another great company. If you want some in teas and a bunch of other teas, Traditional Medicines, I know does great work. I've been out with some of their botanical experts in the middle of nowhere. They do great work. I put many of these adaptogens into a formula I did in 2006, and it's still being sold today. Shakeology. You can find that on my website. That's my baby. I put a lot of these adaptogens in, knowing that we need these in our diets. We need these in our worlds to help us with what's going on in the world. Okay, so again, I have a lot of this in the show notes. You can check out the studies. You can do your own research. Take one of these botanicals and just dig in. Even if you just spend 5 minutes, you will learn a lot. And the power of plants, the power of mushrooms, the power of indigenous knowledge, and the power of science coming together blows me away all the time. Okay, adaptogens being my favorite, and hope you enjoyed this episode. Take it in, look at it, consult experts, physicians, you name it. And I strongly encourage you to explore the world of adaptogens. Okay, have your greatest super life ever. Love you.